All right. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
We up in here for our midweek Torah class. We're back. This week we are looking at Vayikra. We finished up with Exodus, finished up with Shmot, and now we're into Vayikra. In the previous portion, the tabernacle was built. The tabernacle was built, and now we're going into really what do you do with it? Now that you got it, what you gonna do with it? That's what we see over here with the book of Vayikra. It gives you, for the most part, two things. It deals with the priests and their duties, and it deals with the people and holiness, various set apartnesses that are associated with the people, and also the various sacrifices and things that the priests do. So we're going to go ahead and open up our textbooks and read. We're going to read Leviticus 1. Let's read up to verse 13. Let me put this up on the screen here. We'll read up to verse 13. Leviticus 1, verse 1, all the way up to 13.
And it says, Yahweh called unto Moses and spoke unto him out of the tent of meeting, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When any man of you bringeth an offering unto Yahweh, ye shall bring your offering of the cattle, even of the herd or of the flock. If his offering be a burnt offering of the herd, he shall offer it a male without blemish. He shall bring it to the door of the tent of meeting, that he may be accepted before Yahweh. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him. And he shall kill the bullock before Yahweh, and Aaron's sons and the priests shall present the blood and dash the blood round about against the altar that is at the door of the tent of meeting. And he shall flay the burnt offering and cut it into pieces. And the sons of Aaron the priest shall put fire upon the altar and lay wood in order upon the fire. And Aaron's sons, the priests, shall lay the pieces and the head of the suet in order upon the wood that is on the fire, which is upon the altar. But its inwards and its legs shall he wash with water, and the priest shall make the whole smoke on the altar for a burnt offering, an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto Yahweh. And if his offering be of the flock, whether of the sheep or of the goats, for a burnt offering he shall offer it a male without blemish, and he shall kill it on the side of the altar northward before Yahweh and Aaron's sons. The priests shall dash its blood against the altar round about, and he shall cut it into pieces, and the priest shall lay them with its heads and its suet in order on the wood that is on the fire which is upon the altar. But the inwards and the legs shall he wash with water, and the priest shall offer the whole and make it smoke upon the altar. It is a burnt offering, an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto Yahweh.
Okay, very good. All right, so we're looking at Vayikra. And Leviticus 1 says, and Yahweh called unto Moses. Vayikra is, and he is of course Yahweh.
Oh, yeah.
And so let's look at the main word here that is used for the title. Let's see here. Make sure it's here. Korah, which is the idea of accosting a person met, call out to, properly address by name, but used in a wide variety of applications. Bewray. I've never seen that word in my life. Bewray. Self, that are bidden call, so on and so forth. So, there's a various, there's various things here, but I think the idea of accosting, if I'm accosting is kind of like, isn't it like capturing you, like taking you.
Like, you don't have a choice.
Hold on, I don't gotta see. The thing is that I don't gotta sit up here and think about it. I can just go to the dictionary and put that up here. Let's see, because this is what we're doing here. This is study.
Oh yeah.
We're looking at things. We're investigating things. We looked at this word here, Korah. We'll put it over here so that we can see this word here, accosting. Why don't I have look up for me? Oh, there we go. Define. Accosting. Addressing. Interesting. So, that's interesting.
Is that in what is that?
This is 1828.
1828. And our colloquialism.
Right, the way that we think about accosting. If I'm accosting you,
you don't have a choice but to talk to me.
I'm taking you.
I'm like in your face.
No, but I thought it was physical though.
Yeah, we do use it physically.
Look it up in regular.
Here it says, approach and address someone boldly or aggressively.
Aggressive.
So I'm pulling up on you. If I'm accosting you, it's like pulling up.
Yeah. But I guess in Strong's,
something's about to happen right now.
Strong's day was
something is about to. Hold on, let me put the. Something is about to happen if I accost you, right? In the way that we talk about it now, like I'm about to pull up on you, right? But I'm saying that just to say, when we look at what's happening with Moses and the Most High calling unto Moses, it's not like how I be calling people in my family and they don't come.
I know.
It's not like that. It's like I'm calling and Moshe is there available for the Most High. Because look at all the things that's happening. Yahweh called unto Moses, and spoke unto him out of the tent of meeting.
So was that like that pillar of fire and cloud was like
Yes.
ringing out?
Yes, all of that. And so we think about the look at this. Look at our textbook. We look at our textbook here, what it has to say when it talks about the tent of meeting, right? The tent of revelation,
Where we at?
right? In our textbook. I don't know if you remember how to. So verse 1 we're looking at, and then you can look at verse 1, and then you could come
Oh, I see,
down.
tent of meeting.
I wish I was able to have a digital version of this so that I could put it up on the.
We do have our little overhead camera over there.
Oh yeah, maybe next time we'll hook that up. So, the tent of meeting, right? It says the tent of revelation,
Yeah.
right? The tent of revelation.
Mhm.
Pull up Exodus
I like that, the tent of
25.
Revelation.
Well, it really don't mean that,
I know, but it's
but it is the tent of revelation, though.
because if you're meeting with the Most High.
Yeah.
yeah.
Pull up
Yeah,
Exodus
yeah.
25 and well, hold on, I'll pull it up and then you can read it. I forgot I got the thing over here. Do you got anybody watching over here? Okay, let me go over to Exodus 25, right? Hold on. 25. Yeah, my Roman numeral game is strong. 25 and 22. Okay, read that verse right there.
22, it says, "And there I will meet with thee, and I will speak with thee from above the ark cover, from between the two cherubim, which are upon the ark of the testimony, of all things which I give thee in commandment unto the children of Israel."
Okay, very good. So this is the place where the Most High is going to speak with Moses, right? And so when the Most High is speaking to you, what you're getting is revelation. Things are being revealed to you, whether it be instruction, whether it be whatever it is,
Knowledge.
right? Knowledge, wisdom, understanding, whatever it is revelation that's coming to you. So again, the word, it don't mean tent of revelation, but that is in fact what is going on.
I mean, I would think that anytime you meet with the Most High, it's going to be some type. If you're actually listening, there's going to be some sort of revelation.
Yeah.
Because he is the one that's teaching you and revealing things.
Yeah. Yes. Of course.
So just saying tent of meeting, it's like, who are you meeting with?
Well, I mean, it is the tent of meeting. Like it's the tent of meeting,
How much kind?
right? Another thing, when we think about Leviticus, here, Leviticus, it's interesting. Another thing that it talks about in our textbook is that Leviticus, being the book of holiness, is the book of holiness, right? It teaches on ways of set apartness, whether it be for the individual, the regular person, or the priest. And so from a traditional standpoint, Leviticus was the first thing that is taught to the babies, to the children. Because
Why?
the children, why? Because the children are innocent and holy. And so when you dealing with these babies that are innocent and holy, then you would start off with the instructions of innocence and holiness.
How to stay.
Yes.
That's interesting.
You could have fill it up to the line for me. Okay, so let us keep on going. Let's look at verse 2. Oh, wait, we got to go back. We got to go back to Leviticus. Leviticus 1, verse 2.
1 and 2.
Yeah, yes, just read again verse 2.
All right. It says, "Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, when any man of you bringeth an offering unto Yahweh, ye shall bring your offering of the cattle, even of the herd or of the flock."
Okay, very good. So what we want to look at, we want to pay attention to when any man, let's see here. If we look at this verse here, any man, Adam, ready, that is a human being, an individual or the species, mankind, right? A man. So this is just a man, anybody, right? And so it's interesting when you think about this burnt offering, right? This is a burnt offering. This is talking about, first of all, any man bringing an offering. Anybody that's bringing an offering, it could be whoever. Look at what the textbook says right here. Can you see that here? Read what it say right there. Any man at the bottom.
Any man, Hebrew Adam.
Say it louder than that.
It says, even a heathen may bring an offering if he is moved to do so. A man's faith, not the accident of birth, is regarded by Elohim. An apostate is therefore denied the privilege of bringing an offering at Israel's sanctuary.
Here, read that next part too.
It says, Yahweh would accept the offering of a heathen who turned to him. 1 Kings, what's that?
8.
8
and 41.
I taught you these Roman numerals. What are we doing?
But not the sacrifice of a disloyal Israelite.
Wait a second. He'll take the offering
Of a heathen.
Yeah, of a heathen. Look what it said. A heathen.
A heathen who turned to him.
That turned to him.
But not the sacrifice.
What does that say? What's 1 Kings 8 and 41 say? I don't even know what it say.
Let me get my Bible out.
I can't find my cursor. Oh, that's because it got stuck on my
What's your iPad?
onto my iPad.
8 and 42.
What is it? First Kings?
Let's see what 1 Kings says. This isn't. This is the commentary out of our textbook. That wasn't a verse.
My Torah.
But we're looking at 1 Kings 8 and 41 because they're basing this, what they said, off of this verse here. So let's see. 1 Kings 8 and...
It says, moreover, concerning the stranger that is not of thy people Israel, when he shall come out of a far country for thy name's sake.
Then what happens?
It says, "For they shall hear of thy great name, and of thy mighty hand, and of thine outstretched arm, when he shall come and pray for this house."
Oh, that's talking about the temple, right? The being called a house of prayer,
for all nations.
right? And so that's a stranger, a heathen, a Gentile who's turned towards the Most High, right? But the Israelite who turned away, the disloyal Israelite,
You're not getting no
he don't want
airtime
that.
with him.
He don't want that.
No.
He don't want that, right? Okay, but let's go back to Leviticus. Because here we're simply speaking about the idea of bringing the sacrifice. Bringing the sacrifice when any man brings it. So if anybody who's bringing a sacrifice, if they bring it, these are the no airtime. These are the things that he would bring. That any man, whether it be from the cattle, or from the herd, or from the flock. All right, let's go over to verse 4. So let me get back to Leviticus. I got too many things open because it keeps on stealing my. Okay, back to Leviticus. Leviticus 1:4. Okay, let's look at read verse 4 again.
It says, "And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him."
Okay, very good. So we see over here that part of what was done by the person bringing the offering was that he laid his hand on the head of the burnt offering, right? Because now this thing is proxy for the person, right? He's offering himself, right? He's offering his own self, right? We're talking about this burnt offering. A person is bringing an offering, this animal offering. They talk about the idea of this offering being likened unto the person bringing their, the word nefesh, your soul, right? When you think about your soul, you think about the idea of your animal self. If you was to look at the actual word nefesh, here we don't have to
Talk about it.
make it be like I'm just saying it. Here, let's look over. Let me find what verse that they use it in. I think it's not one of the ones that we read already. Hold on 1 second here. Let's see. This is. Oh, I see. Oh, it's chapter 2. All right, we'll wait till we get to chapter 2 because it's right at the beginning of chapter 2. But we can talk about the idea that here we see this thing being implemented. And, another thing is that I wanted to mention was is that sometimes when we look at, especially when you think about Passover, right? When we think about Passover, it's its its symbolism and the instructions for it are all laid out in Exodus, right? In a couple of chapters there in Exodus. And so when it talks about the idea of offering or burnt offering, it's not really defined. It's not something that's defined because it was something that, people did all over the place, right? There are borders, there are different instructions specific to the way that the Most High had for Israel to do the offering, but the thing didn't have to be defined.
Yes.
And again, we think about Leviticus and what it is. It's Leviticus, a big part of Leviticus is setting the people apart from the nations. And so other nations might have had animal sacrifices, but the way that Israel was instructed to do it was setting them apart from the other nations. Right? There may have been many animals that could have been brought for sacrifices for other nations, but for Israel, it had to be, good ones. Right? It had to be good,
Without blemish.
without blemish. Right? All right, so let's keep on going here. Let's look over, what else did I want to look at in this first chapter here? Oh, just when we was looking at verse number,
4.
oh, did you say I have
We were in
something?
4. No.
Oh, yeah, we was in 4. Talking about the laying on of the hands. That's important because of the idea of it being something, these offerings being personal to you and having a significance for one's own self. These are burnt offerings. These aren't sin offerings. It's just burnt offerings in general. Because when you bring a burnt offering, anybody could do it. Anybody could bring the offering. The priest, this is another thing. Let's look at this. Another thing is, before we go to 8, if I can figure out which way to put my, oh, here we go. I want to look at, so if we look at this, so it's giving instructions, the Most High is giving instructions to Moses to give to both any man and the priest. And so it's important for us to be able to look and see when he's saying something to who. Right? Verse 2, speak unto children of Israel and say unto them, when any man, that's still them, right? Just any old body. Verse 3, if his offering be, that's any man, he shall offer it. He shall offer it, a male without blemish. He shall bring it to the door of the tent of meeting, that he may accept it. So it's all one person here. It's still talking about any guy. He's bringing it to the door so that he can be accepted before Yahweh. Verse 4. He shall lay his hand upon the head, which is still he, any guy, so that it shall be accepted for him, still him, and make atonement for him. This is any guy. So he takes it. He done took it. He done brought it. He laid his hand on it so that he can be atoned, so it could be kafared, so he could be accepted and atoned for. It's just as a sub point. There's so many things to talk about here. I still want to talk about this whole separation of he and the priest, but in verse 4, let's look at these words here, because these words really kind of mean the same thing. If we look at verse 4 here, verse 4, he'll put his hand on the head of the burnt offering so that he is, which is to be pleased with, specifically to satisfy a debt, which is interesting part to take note of. To satisfy a debt, accept, accomplish, consent, delight. There's all these things here. Pardon, reconcile. Okay, so remember that. And then when we go to, so it shall be accepted for him, the sacrifice. So the sacrifice, it'll be accepted for him to make kafar, to make a cover, expiate, placate, expiate, and satisfy is the same thing. Right? If I'm condone, canceling a debt, appease, atone, cleanse, thus and now forgive. Oh, pacifies right here. Oh, it's not using the word satisfy, but pacify and satisfy are synonyms. Right? And so it's interesting that we see these two words here used, and they're essentially the same thing, right? But okay, so now we're talking about who's he and who's the priest, right? So verse 5, and he shall kill the bullock before Yahweh. Who's he? He is still the guy. It's still any guy. The guy kills it. The guy kills it. Not the priest. But then now the priest takes the blood and dashes the blood around about. So the guy kills it. The guy's killing the animal. He lays his hand on it. He's participating in this whole thing. He puts his hand on it. He brought it. He lays it. He chooses it to begin with. He kills it. And then all the priest got to do is stick his hand in there and get some of the blood and sprinkle it on the corners of the thing. Right? The priest now he's finalizing the deal.
He's witnessing.
He's bearing witness to this whole thing, and he's putting a period on it with when he sprinkles the blood. But as we see right here, the guy, he literally did the sacrifice. The guy did for the burnt offering. Okay? And then even with 6, he'll flay the burnt offering, cut it into pieces. He kills it and he chops it up. And then the sons, they put fire upon the altar and lay wood in order on the fire. And so again, when it's talking about what the priests do, is telling you that it says, and the sons of Aaron, the priests, they put the fire, they lay the pieces in the head and the, what is this? What's a suet? Hold on, where's my, I keep losing my cursor here. Oh, here we go. If we look at verse
What verse is that?
8, he takes the head.
Oh, Stewart.
Oh, the fat.
Mm-hmm.
He took the pieces, the head, and the fat. Because the Most High, he wants all the fat. We talked about the fat before. The fat is the overflow. It's the abundance. Right? And you giving that back to the Most High. And again, this is just a burnt offering. It's a regular burnt offering. So this is voluntary. Right? This is you just saying, I love the Most High. I'm giving him my best. I'm offering what I have to give him, not because I'm under any obligation to do it. I didn't do anything. I'm just giving, the Most High his dues, right? And so they, but another thing is, what's this? Verse 8, and the priest shall lay the pieces, the head is in order. I guess there's an order that they lay it in order upon. What's this word here? All. No, that don't tell me nothing.
Is that the word for upon?
Yeah, but
They don't show in order.
no, an order is not really. It's not really there, but
Just on.
but in various translations, it's like they're making it seem like there's an order that they put it in.
Oh.
Why do you need that word order there? Why couldn't they just say they laid it on the wood? Why does it got to be in order?
In the scriptures, it says they shall arrange the pieces.
That's even worse. You know what I mean? What are they talking about? It's because if the word is just all, the fat in order. And then look, so if you look here, it says, and the fat in order upon the wood that is on. Right? So that's the same word again, but why would that? I need a, what they call it,
Interlinear?
no, not the interlinear. You know how when you have like a whole bunch of translations?
You got that both of them.
Oh, I got the interlinear over there.
Isn't that the one that has all the different translations?
No.
Oh, you don't have that one.
Mm-mm.
How we missed that one?
I don't know.
Purchase.
Maybe I gotta get me one. Or I could just look on Blue Letter Bible. All right, I can keep on going because I can't get stuck here because time is going past. But that's just something that's something that can
Yeah,
be.
because the New American Standard says arrange as well.
The New American Standard says arrange.
Which, and the New American
Now,
Standard
why is there
very
so
literal.
much? It is very literal. I'm trying to understand why is there so much emphasis on order, arrange. What the scripture say?
It's an
Arrange.
too.
Here, I know what to do.
Leviticus
I know what to do. Look at
1 verse 8.
Look at Blue Letter Bible.
I don't like Blue Letter Bible.
You don't like Blue Letter Bible?
I use Bible Hub.
In order. Here we go. A rock.
Okay.
A rock.
That's what I was.
Va'ar ku. Va'ar ku. A rock.
Okay, Va'ar ku, yeah. And shall arrange.
Now.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now. You see? You gotta do some extra.
Are you sharing that on the screen?
Oh.
Oh, you can't even share.
No, I looked at it somewhere else.
No, that's okay.
Nah, but you gotta look at the Hebrew in order. See that we talked about in our Strong's thing, how Strong's like it don't give you everything right there. You know? And so it tells you the word for upon all, but why don't it give you a rock? Why don't they give you that? You know what I mean? That's why it's for a concordance. That's why it's not exhaustive.
Mm-hmm. Just exhaustive on
The dictionary isn't
not
exhaustive.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's skipped out on a word that's there. The word's there in the text, but it didn't give us the notation for it. Anyway, that's just a side tangent. This is you can just find so many things over here. But I wanted to go over to the next chapter. Go to the next chapter and read. Just read 1 through 3. Hold on, let me get there first. Leviticus 2, 1 through 3.
It says, "And when anyone bringeth a meal offering unto Yahweh, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil upon it, and put frankincense therein. And he shall bring it to Aaron's house, to Aaron's sons, the priests, and he shall take thereout his handful of the fine flour thereof, and of the oil thereof, together with all the frankincense thereof. And the priests shall make the memorial part thereof smoke upon the altar, an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto Yahweh. But that which is left of the meal offering shall be Aaron's and his sons. It is a thing most holy of the offerings of Yahweh made by fire."
Okay, very good. This sound like challah right here, don't it?
So do.
You take a piece out and you use the rest.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they just did, right? They take the meal offering. They bring it to the priest. They take out a handful of the thing that he's bringing, and of the oil, together with it, and frankincense, and then the priests make a memorial part. What's that?
Memorial part.
Is that the part that goes to him?
He takes the memorial. He takes the Azkara. Reminder, remembrance offering, memorial. Azkara. He takes that part out, and that's the part that he burns. So he brings them a whole bunch. The priest takes out a handful of the flour and the oil and the incense and all that, and that gets burned up, and that's the remembrance offering.
Did you see in the text it says the portion, memorial part, the portion of the sacrifice which was actually used as an offering is distinct from that part which became the property of the priests. It has been suggested that the Hebrew Azkara, which is usually translated memorial, is an ancient Semitic sacrificial term meaning the male. In other words, the best or the finest portion of the meal.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. The textbook got some things, huh? All right, so that was verse 2, but we want to drop back because we were waiting for verse 1. Okay, so verse 1, and when anyone brings a meal offering. Right? And so here, anyone is our word, which is nefesh.
Any flesh.
Nefesh. Was you trying to rhyme or something? You said any flesh. Nefesh.
I didn't mean to rhyme.
Okay, breathing creature that is animal. I remember when I was going to the prison, and I try to tell them guys that they is animals up there, and that was so offensive to them. Not to all of them. One guy in particular, he was so offended that I was calling him an animal.
Was he the troublemaker?
Yeah.
The troublemaker didn't like it.
No, he didn't like it. But when we look at this word here, any, it helps us to understand that yes, in fact, you are an animal. Nefesh, whenever the Most High, whenever it talks about him taking dirt, earth, and breathing the breath of life into earth, it became a living nefesh, a living soul, right? And so here, nefesh is used to mean anybody, right? Anybody bringing that meal offering. It literally means a breathing creature, right? Because that's how the thing even came about, with the Most High breathing the breath of life into dust, into dirt. It turned into a breathing creature. That's what nefesh is, right? That is animal. And so again, when we think about this whole idea of sacrifice, this whole idea of someone bringing animals as offerings, food as offerings, all of these things are representative of you giving of yourself unto the Most High. You know, when we think about the idea of walking in this life from a spiritual perspective, we want to walk in the spirit and be spiritually minded, not carnally minded. We want to deny our flesh, our carnality, our animal soul. We want to kill our animal soul, and we want to cause to be alive our spirit soul, right? We don't want to be carnally minded, but spiritually minded. And so when we look over here at these things that have to do with these offerings, these sacrifices, these burnt offerings, it's interesting that when it's talking about anyone bringing it, that this word here is nefesh. One thing we didn't mention from the first chapter is the fact that it was made possible for anybody to be able to bring an offering, whether you was rich or you was poor, right? If you was able to bring the nicest of animals, you could bring it. But if you wasn't able to afford it, you could have brought a bird. You could have brought a bird, a little dove, right? Which probably didn't cost that much, right? I mean, it obviously didn't, right? And so anybody could do it. So anybody was able to do it. Anybody was permitted to do it. And anybody was able to do it, because you didn't have to be rich in order to do it, right? Because we see that here with the verse 1 here. All right, so let's keep on going. All right, let's go over to let's drop down and read 7 through 13. Hold on a second. Let me get over there. There we go.
It says, if thy offering be a meal offering of the stewing pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. And thou shalt bring the meal offering that is made of these things unto Yahweh, and it shall be presented unto the priests, and he shall bring it unto the altar. And the priest shall take off from the meal offering the memorial part thereof, and shall make it smoke upon the altar, an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto Yahweh. But that which is left of the meal offering shall be Aaron's and his sons. It is a thing most holy of the offering of Yahweh made by fire. No meal offering which ye shall bring unto Yahweh shall be made with leaven, for ye shall make no leaven, nor any honey smoke, as an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. As an offering of first fruits ye may bring them unto Yahweh, but they shall not come up for a sweet savor on the altar. And every meal offering of thine shalt thou season with salt, neither shalt thou suffer the salt of the covenant of thy God to be lacking from thy meal offering. With all thy offerings thou shalt offer salt.
Okay, very good. So, okay, we go back here. You look at verse 11. In verse 11, it says that no meal offering. If you're bringing a meal offering, it can't have leaven. It can't have honey. Okay? A meal offering can't have leaven. It can't have honey. Neither one. Right?
It can't be fluffy and good.
Well, it could be good. It just can't be fluffy.
Well, sweet.
And sweet.
Sweet. That's what I meant. Sweet.
And both of these things, leaven her.
I feel like leaven likes honey. You know,
Leaven does like honey. Look. Ferment. Extortion.
That's a very
Figuratively extortion. Chametz.
So interesting.
Is that the same? Is that our kind of extortion?
Old-fashioned word.
Is that our kind of extortion? I gotta look just to see. The act of extorting, the act or practice of wresting anything from a person by force or duress,
Okay.
menaces. That's our kind of
that's
extortion,
the same-
right?
that's the
It's
same
not like different
definition.
kinds.
Yeah.
Punishable force.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, when you think about I don't know, let me talk to my bread makers. So when you wrestle your bread.
You could ask Africa about that. Africa wrestles the bread.
When you wrestle it, does that have an effect on its rising?
I think so. I mean, I think you break it down so that it can rise up. Again, you give it a second rise.
I mean, are you trying to spiritualize it, or does it actually
You're
have?
increasing the gluten.
Well, I mean, if I'm touching it, it's
You're
not really
activating the
rising.
gluten.
No, but I'm not as you're holding it, but
It's part of
Like,
the
as soon as
process.
I
the KitchenAid wrestles.
grab it, it's like,
Yeah,
I'm saying when you do that to it, not as you're holding it down, but the act of doing that, does that aid in its rising?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so
And also the overall fluffiness of what the bread is going, the product of the bread.
oh, it adds to the fluffiness.
Yeah, it adds to the texture and all of that.
Mm.
It's like it'll be real dense
Oh, if you don't beat it up.
If you don't, yeah.
Okay. Oh, so now see that's what it took to activate
Yes.
the
activates
comments.
Oh.
That
I
activated the
don't
comments
see the comments.
to start talking about bread. Okay, very good. Okay, so so that when we look at chametz, that word chametz, and its extortion, I understand how extortion is connected to it because you people be out here extorting the bread,
Yes.
right? You're roughhousing, the bread so that it could get the effect that you want. It's going to naturally rise a little bit once you got that stuff in it, but when you extort it, you add into the fluffiness. You forcing your will upon it, right? And the baker in me came out. That's funny. Okay, so 11. Hold on, but let me just look at one other thing here. Because I thought there was kind of more to this chametz. Okay, I'm thinking about another word, obviously. Okay, so, well, I guess when you think about honey, me being somebody who understands what yeast is doing, right? The yeast eats the sweetness.
Yes. Yes, it does.
And then the result of the sweetness, I mean the byproduct of that is the fluffiness,
I was saying
the
alcohol.
airiness,
Yeah, the airiness. Yeah.
right? And so as that thing is fermenting, so all the things that we think about with leaven, with sweetness, with because again we're talking about the thing that's being offered up. These things, to rise up, to swell up, to puff up. We don't want those things to be representative of what we're offering to the Most High, right? Those things are the things that we want to be low. We want to be brought low. We want to be abased. We want to be humble, right? So we want to be the opposite. So I guess when we think about those things which we're offering unto the Most High, and these things again are, even when we're talking about the meal offering, these things are still representative of us. We want those things to be removed.
I mean, because we are trying to represent, when you come up to him, you recognize how low you are.
Yes, because it's like you can't help but know that when you understand who the Most High is, you most certainly, in understanding who He is, you're able to think about yourself for who you are, which is not in any comparison to who or what the Most High is. Right? There's a big
gap.
It's a huge gap, to say the least. Okay. All right. Let me see here. Oh. Okay, so if we go over here, in verse 13, it mentioned the salt. You're always mixing in salt. Now, this is an interesting thing because it talks about in here this salt of the covenant of the Elohim to be lacking, but I don't know where else it talks about this anywhere else. It's almost like it's bringing something up that we should already know about, but I don't know where it talks about this outside of right here. It don't really talk about this. It don't really talk about it in our textbook over here. I didn't get a chance to look in this other book that I. Let's see what
You see here it said
what Rashi got to say. Go ahead.
that salt as it's a preservative and typifies that which is abiding, an everlasting covenant of salt. Numbers.
Oh, it typifies that which is abiding or
Yes.
keep or continuing.
Continuing, yes. So, everlasting covenant of salt.
Oh, when you okay, so a salt in and of itself typifies the idea of covenant, of continual covenant, because of intrinsically what it is. Salt.
It never. It's
It's a preservative.
It preserves itself and it preserves other things.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so when you think about it in that way now, the textbook brought something out there. When you think about it in that way, it's kind of explaining itself. When you think about the salt in that way. And let's look up what the Hebrew word for salt is here. It gotta be something good. I don't know if it gotta be. It's probably not that good. Melach. Sounds like another word, don't it? So it's the wrong letter there.
Yeah, melach.
It's a what's that word that sounds the same but it's spelled different?
Homophone.
It's a homophone of another word. Right, but this word melach means powder. That is specifically salt, as easily pulverized and dissolved. Oh, it's from. What's it from? To rub to pieces, pulverize, disappear dust. Okay, so it's essentially the same as
that word?
As the word that it came from. Let me see. Preservative, great value, trading, bartering, purifies water, Dead Sea, Salt Sea. Okay. All right.
Ezekiel 47:11.
What?
I just saw that Ezekiel 47:11. I'm just gonna
You like that verse?
I want to see what it says.
Oh, we could just put it up right here. Let me read that.
It says, "But the myriad places thereof and the marshes thereof shall not be healed; they shall be given for salt."
Okay, very good. All right, so that's good there because I guess when you think about adding salt to all of these offerings, it's giving you that idea of everlasting kind of a thing or preserving kind of a thing. All right, so let us lastly look at the third chapter, some parts of the third chapter. Actually, the entire third chapter really is the end of our halfway mark. So we'll look at some key points over there. So let's go over to, so far we have the burnt offering and we have the meal offering, right? We have the burnt offering, all the ways that you were able to do that, the specific animals that you was able to bring for that, whether it be the herd or the flocks. And so that was a burnt offering, and the meal offering, it gave you the different things that you was able to bring for that. And so if we look at chapter 3, it gives us another offering. So let's go over here to chapter 3 and read some of that. If I could find my cursor, we can do it. Chapter 3. Just start reading at verse 1 there.
It says, and if his offering be a sacrifice of peace offerings, if he offer of the herd, whether male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before Yahweh. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering and kill it at the door of the tent of meeting. And Aaron's sons, the priests, shall dash the blood against the altar round about. And he shall present of the sacrifice of peace offerings an offering made by fire unto Yahweh, the fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys and the fat that is on them, which is by the loins, and the lobe above the liver, which he shall take away hard by the kidneys. It's interesting, take away hard. It says, and Aaron's sons shall make it smoke on the altar upon the burnt offering, which is upon the wood that is on the fire. It is an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto Yahweh.
Okay, very good. So with the peace offering, we see that it's here going to begin to talk about if you was going to bring something from the herd, and then what you would do. And then it goes on to talk about if you was going to bring something from the flock and what you would do. But let's go up here and look at a couple things here that we see here. We talked about some where first of all, let's look at a couple words here. Let's go up here. It says you gonna go 32, 3-2 and kill it. Shakat. Shakat. Peace offering. All right, so this word here means to slaughter and sacrifice or massacre. Kill, offer, shoot out, slay, slaughter. But it literally means to slaughter. If you killed someone, I don't think it's that word. I don't think it's a different word.
What you mean kill as a murder?
Yes, I do mean that. I lost my cursor again.
Are you able to disable this from having
I don't know.
Bluetooth or something?
I don't know how to do it. I just think it's not the same word.
You're really going off the cuff.
What?
You're really going off the cuff.
What you mean? Hey, we just looking here. You know what I mean? This is different. This is a different situation. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm trying to. I wish I had my computer so I could look up things quicker. This is my iPad is so slow.
I listened to you.
Ratzach isn't our word here. What was it?
No, it was. I don't know what it was.
If you murdering somebody, if you killing them, you dashing them to pieces. Murder, kill, slay. But this is the idea of slaughtering, right? The idea is what you would do with, again, this sacrifice here. You're making this sacrifice, this offering, right? And so it's different from this, all right? So let's go back over here. We talked about
So people who are like the animal rights people, and you know how they are about. They don't like the tabernacle and the whole offering system because you're killing these animals.
I'm not killing it.
It's not the same as killing
I'm
a
slaughtering
person.
it.
It's the difference between slaughtering and just immoral.
I mean, for most, it's definitely a different word, right? Those people are crazy. But we talked about when we look at these parts that are taken during the peace offering. If I'm a peace offering, I want to make peace. So I take me and there's somebody who I'm trying to make peace with, and I say, man, let's go up here to the tabernacle. We don't gotta sit up here and be like this with each other. I want to make peace with you. It's literally what the peace offering is. I want to make peace with you. Let's go up here and do this thing here. But the Most High is involved in it though, right? The Most High is involved in this peace. It's almost as if, when we sit up here and kind of, loosely, make these little vows and swears like, I swear I won't do that again to you, like on my whatever, right? But when you're doing this peace offering, when you're joining forces with somebody who you've reconciled with and you want to just seal the deal, you're kind of doing that because you're adding the Most High is included in your situation, right? And so you're bringing this offering unto the Most High and your whoever, your brother or whoever, right? And so, again, with this offering, you're offering these innards, right? The kidneys and the liver, right? And remember when we looked at these words before, it has all of these things that point us to kind of one's inner desires and your inner unctionings. You're giving those things over to the Most High. Your overabundance of things, the fat and these kidneys, and this liver, these innards, you're giving over unto the Most High. And so you're taking away your own selfish desires and you're just giving that over unto the Almighty. That's the part that gets burned up, right? And so it's interesting that when we think about this peace offering here, where when you think about issues that people have with one another, at the end of the day, is your inner selfish desires that probably started the whole thing in the first place, right? And so when you move those things out of the way, and again, the animal is a representation of you, right? It's interesting that when we look at this peace offering, that this, that is part of it. The fat, the overabundance, your overabundance, and your inner desires and strivings, you set those things aside and offer them unto the Most High in the peace offering. Okay. What else we got over in verse chapter 3? We got like 4 minutes. That we get. Okay, so when you look at chapter 3, that's what you have there, right? You have it looks at the herd, which I guess will be the bull, right? The flock. It's talking about bringing the lamb, and the goat, what you would bring. And so it's the same thing, whether it be the bull or the lamb or the goat, right? And so let's go all the way down to 17. Let's go all the way down to 17 lastly here. Just read for us verses 16 and 17.
And the priest shall make them smoke upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire for a sweet savor. All the fat is Yahweh's.
Oh, yeah.
It shall be a perpetual statute throughout your generations and all your dwellings, that ye shall eat neither fat nor blood.
Okay, very good. So we see over here that, again, it went through the bullock, the lamb, and the goat, and you essentially do the exact same thing for each of those things, depending on your financial abilities.
Right.
Would determine which one of those things you would actually bring. And then it finishes off with 17, talking about the fact that you won't eat the fat or the blood. And so it's, again, when we think about the representations of the fat and the blood, it's the thing that it represents is the abundance, the your desires and your abundance and your life, because the life is in the blood. Right? The life is in the blood. And so we see that your desires belong to the Most High.
Right.
And your life itself belongs to the Most High.
Right.
And then you exemplify these things by carrying out these various offerings and sacrifices in the ways that are prescribed here for us in these verses. All right, very good. So, is there anything that we want to quickly mention before we go ahead and are done with this? All right. So that being said, that was a good time. Y'all willing, we will on Shabbat go over the second or highlights from the second half of the Torah portion, Vayikra, and that's gonna be it for now. So we'll say then, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Y'all willing, we will see you on Shabbat.